So good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we have been discussing MongoDB, a very popular NoSQL database, and apart from all other databases, MongoDB is highly you can consider a MySQL of NoSQL. So that's why that is there in the syllabus, and that's why you must have an understanding of how to play with MongoDB database. So we have discussed the basic principles. That means what is the architecture? We have a database, we have a collection, then document, and what document can contain. It contains basically any JSON object you can say. We have also discussed various data types as well. There is a very long list of data types which are available for Mongo. Uh, Today we are going to discuss the CRUD operation. And for that I will use the reference of the, even though it is there in my PPT, but I think you should not refer that. Better we should refer the actual documentation, because that will give you the latest commands or options available for querying the MongoDB database. So let us start with the CRUD operation, and first in the CRUD is an insert operation, so create records. So there are number of ways by which you can insert the record. Mainly there are three: insert one, insert many, and insert. Now, insert one will always insert a single document. Insert many will insert the multiple document, and insert will insert whatever you passed as an argument. So, if you pass a single document, then it will add the single, or it will create the single record. And if you pass multiple over here, that means an array of documents, then it will create a multiple records. So let us understand what is the syntax. As I told you, MongoDB is can be easily integrated with the any server technology, because most of the time we are dealing with, or we are playing with MongoDB with at least one server technology. We are not going to write the commands on Mongo shell. So either we will be working with Python, or we will be working with PHP or JavaScript or Java. It can be any server side technology. Uh, what we are supposed to do is that in that case, we will create, for example, if it is a Python, then we will create a dictionary, and that dictionary will contain the exact data which we want to insert. So we'll create a simple dictionary object in Python. If it is in PHP, then we will create an associative array with the desired data type, whatever you require. If it's uh, JavaScript, then again we will create a JS object for to insert it inside the MongoDB database. So you have that JS object over here, and then you can easily insert it using this method. So only one field is to be passed, and that is an object. Now, the ID, the underscore ID is a unique ID which will be automatically created. Similarly, if you want to insert the multiple object, you can use insert many, and instead of single object, you can pass an array of object. So you can pass an array of dictionary, you can pass an array of associative array, or you can pass an array of JS object. So that will create or insert multiple records. Uh, the important thing to consider is an atomicity. That means, let's say if you are passing an multiple records, or if you are inserting a multiple records, then the write operations are always atomic. Atomic means that either the entire operations will be performed, or the entire operations will not be performed. That means either one or zero. So there will not be only an intermediate failure when it comes to the insert operation in MongoDB. Uh, you can also get the right acknowledgement. So whenever you will insert the record on Mongo, let's say if you are doing something, Right. So this is an acknowledgement. Most of the time you will get it. That means number of rows are inserted, etc. So that is an acknowledgement which you will get. Insert method. I told you that there are three major insert method, but apart from that, you can also insert the record using an update method. Sometimes there is a requirement in your application that either you want to update the record, or if it record does not exist, then you want to create it. So that means that is also an insert operation. So that you can do using an update method by setting this flag as true, that is upsert is equal to true. So we will discuss while discussing the update as well. Let us discuss that only first. So that was about the insert operation. The second operation is an update operation. So for understanding that, you need to understand the syntax. So there are three parameters when it comes to the update operation. First parameter is a filter. Filter will take the argument, or which will you can consider it's like a where condition. So if you compare this with the MySQL, then this is my if you remember, the MySQL update query is update, then table name, then set, then some field name is equal to some value, then you specify where condition, where this field is equal to this value. So this is that where condition. So you will specify what are the filter you want to update. If you don't specify filter, then means it will update all the records within that collection. The next is the update, what exactly you want to update. So if you compare this with MySQL, then this is the set component. Set ID is equal to this, set email is equal to this. So whatever you are writing over there, this is the update operation which you want to perform. And finally, there are third parameter is an options. Now there are number of options. Will not give in the detail of each, but one of the most important is this flag which is called upsert. Upsert will make sure that if the record with this filter not found, what to do with this update query. If the upsert is true, then if this record not found, then it will create a new document in a collection and it will put this data into that. If the upsert is false, it means that if the document not found, then you will not perform any operation. So it's a pure update operation. If it doesn't found, then it will not create a record. So that is being controlled by upsert. Then you have a write concern. Again, it's an optional one. Upsert is also optional, but it has some default value. I think yes, default is false. So when you don't mention upsert, it means that it will not automatically create the record if it does not exist. Uh, then there are other parameters as well. Okay, we will not go in the detail of everything because otherwise we will. But still, I think you can just go through this document and you can. These parameters are important actually, but the most important aspect is, I think, this one, according to me. So that's what we have discussed. Filter, we'll discuss how to write filters, and update is basically how you create a document. So again, you will pass some object, and that object will be having some key and value. So whatever that key is there, that will be, if we, let me show you an example. right? So we have created one record, and now we want to, let us first so there is one record with ID as 1234 and name as ABS. So we just want to update it. So there are three parameters. First parameter is the condition. Normally we write with equality part. So let's say there is only one condition, and then you will mention the new value, so new name, and then options are optional. So now if you see, now this is important, you need to understand this. See, your entire document is replaced. So you need to be very specific about what you want to update, right? So it's not like only the thing which you have mentioned in the update that will be get updated. So most of the time we are dealing with, it's, remember, it's a document oriented database. So most of the time we are fetching the entire document and we are writing the document back. So that's why this is the default behavior. I'm not saying you cannot change the individual field. You can do it by using the options, the third parameter, but otherwise the entire document will get replaced. So that was about the update operation. Let's see what we have in detail. So, right now, let's see, this is what I was talking about, that you can use a specific operator to update something. Let's say if you just want to update the name over here and not the ID, then you have to use the set operator. So that set operator will make sure that only this columns or this attributes or this fields are updated. Also, you can specify the date or the timestamp for the updation. Right, so this is about update. You can also update the multiple documents. Multiple documents means that obviously you will write a query in such a way that it will filter out multiple documents, and then for all the documents you want to update the record. So this is the query, because it uses some flag. We'll discuss what is this actually, how to write query, but this is the query which will filter out multiple documents, and then that multiple documents you want to update. So that is possible. Okay, replace. You can also use the replace word or the replace document or the replace one to update the document. What it will do, it will simply replace the entire document with what we have mentioned over here. Behavior, again, because it's a write operation, they are atomic. ID field you cannot update because it's not in your control. Once you have inserted something with some underscore ID field, you cannot update it. Upsert options. That means the upsert option is available for three methods: update one, update many, or replace. Where if you have set upsert is equal to true, then it will insert the document if document not found as per the filter operations, right? So this is about an update. Next is a query. This is very huge actually. There are a number of things which is to be understood. First, there is only one method for there are many actually, but all your purpose can be solved using this single method. That is fine. So let us see the API of that find, what it contains. It contains basically two parameters. First is uh, query, and second is okay. So I think that should be try, and I haven't tried it. So let us try it. What you are saying me. db.test replace 1 and query is name is equal to new name, and the new document contains, let's say, email. Okay, and let us see the ID. ID will remain same. Once the ID is generated by the Mongo, it will not change. Okay, so I think that has answered your query, Fanil. Okay, so let us, we are discussing a find query. So there are two parameters to this find function, or both of them are optional actually, and that's why we are getting all the results over here. If you see, this is the find method, then even here also I'm not passing anything. That means it will result everything, or it will return everything what that collection contains. However, we can pass two things, query and projection. Again, if we are coming from the relational background, then you can easily understand what it means. So we have a select operation in relational entity or relational algebra, and the second operation is projection. So selection and projection, select and project. Similarly, for selection we have query over here, and for projection we have projection parameters. Now selection means selection will identify the where conditions what you want to fetch, uh, or what are the filters or what are the conditions based on which you want to get the documents, and then projection will identify what will be the actual content which you want to fetch. There can be 100 fields in a document, but out of that 100 fields, what are the exact fields you are supposed to retrieve? So that is what been given by the projection parameter. So let us go through this query documents. Okay, so let's say we have this is inserted. Now there are different behavior or different way by which you can use find method. This is a pure and simple find without any arguments. It will insert everything, or sorry, it will retrieve everything, much like this query in MySQL or SQL. Select star from inventory. Now sometimes you require, that's what we have discussed, you can pass a query attribute. So there are two ways to pass it. First is using an equality operator. So whatever we write over here, see this ID, then colon, then the value of that field. So this is called an equality operator. When you mention colon in between, it will be considered as equals. So it's like fetch the document where ID is equal to 1234. So this is the default behavior. Whenever you want an equality operator between the match, then you can mention it like this. So it is similar to this. But apart from that equality, we do have other operators as well. Let us see. Okay, so how to mention it, that is to be understood first, and see this. Okay, so instead of writing status is equal to A, what we are writing over here is status is equal to, and then you have an object, right? It's an object. So within that object, now you can use different other operators. So let's say you are using $in over here. So what this will do, it will, with $in, the second parameter will be always an array, because it's similar to like select star where status in A or D. So it's like that kind of a query. So you can see this. So that means $in is an operator. It is used whenever you want to find out or search with respect to where condition, and that where condition contains the multiple values. So there is a dollar in operator, right? Similarly, dollar equal to means that instead of writing so let's say email, we can write this, or we can also write an object dollar equal to, it will return the same thing. So it's like it's like creating an operator for equal to as well. Otherwise, you can achieve that using simple colon as well. But sometimes you require it in a the multiple conditions, and that's why we have that operator for equality. So there is, it will check whether the two values are, or sorry, it will check the document against the value specified. Then you have greater than or equal to. This will be used obviously for numberings. Then you have in operator that will check the value within an array. Then less than equal to, not equal to, and not in. So it's like an exclusion of what we have in in. So these are some comparison operator. Then you have some logical operator. So remember the second parameter, this query object is an object. So it's like you can pass anything within that. So you can use the various combinations of conditions as well. And for that, you require a logical operator. So we have and, we have not, we have nor, and we have or. These are the four options available. Uh, Apart from it, you can also have these two other elements. One is for type exist. So it's like exist will check whether that particular column exist in a document or not. Let's say you have a document. So let's see, we want to find right. So what we have done, we have actually fired a query with phone attribute exist as false. That means retrieve all the document for which phone is not existing. Second query I have fired is email is false. So it will return all the documents which does not contain email as a key. But there is a document which contains email as a key. So that means this list does not have any document with respect to this condition. So this is how you can use exist. That will basically check the existence of a key or a property within a document inside the entire collection. Then you have a type. Again, type is related to the type of the data. So document where the instance of the specified is BASIN type. BASIN, what is this? It's a binary object. So whenever you are storing something like in form of in images or something like that, then this will be important. Then apart from it, we have some evaluation operators as well. So one of them is expression. Expression will make sure that you can use an aggregate expression inside this. So we'll discuss that when we will discuss the aggregation in jQuery, sorry, MongoDB. Then JSON schema. You can mention JSON schema object. So is there any? Yes. So you can mention the entire schema. That means what are the required attributes? So we have name, major, GP, and address. So these are the required attributes. That means this attribute has to be there in the document which I want to match. Then you can also mention the properties of each as well. So properties of, let's say, name, it has to be string. Then let's say address, it's an object. And again, that address and object is requires a zip code. So address should must contain the zip code within. So what this means, you can specify the entire JSON schema as a query object for using this element or this operator that is called JSON schema. Then a modular operator that we will discuss when discuss the aggregation, then regex. So you can also mention the regular expression, right? So here you have a regular expression operator, and then you can mention some pattern. That pattern can be any valid regular expression pattern. Then text, it will perform the text search. So this is important when you are dealing with the multiple language document, multiple or the database which having multiple languages as well. So let's say what you want to search, which is the language, whether you want to go for case sensitiveness or not, and diacritic sensitive. I don't know what it is. Uh, okay, we'll then you have a where is actually an element or an operator which is used when you want to pass some JavaScript as a, so you can pass a JavaScript code within a condition. That is also possible, right? So it can be, these all are some functions of JavaScript which are available for passing the query or passing as a passing query inside it. So let us say, okay, say this. We are writing actually a function in JavaScript, and that is returning some value. Obviously, when you are writing that function should return true or false, because then only this will be, so that means it should be a logical function. So that function will either return true or it will return false, and based on that, the documents will be fetched. So then you have geospatial elements. Geospatial means that an elements which contains the informations with respect to the locations. So one of them is so those who are working in some kind of a location driven application, so they can go through this. So let me show you an example. I think it is there. Geospatial queries, right? Fine. So see this. You can create a JSON object, but see this query. Location is type equal to point and coordinates is equal to this. However, you can pass other types as well, like sphere, etc. So I think there is some document for that as well. Okay. Yes. So you can pass the intersection. Intersection means that you will pass some geometry. That geometry will contain some, either it can be a point, it can be a line, it can be a polygon, it can be anything. So you have, say, let us say type is equal to polygon, and then you have a coordinates. Coordinates will contain the exact latitude and longitude. So let's say you will mark some hexagon on a map, and then you will provide that hexagon coordinates as an array of coordinates over here, latitude and longitude. And then your data will also contain something. So let's say your data contains some latitude and longitude. So that will match against the polygon which you have mentioned. So this is a classical example of whenever you want to find out whether some location exists within a polygon, right? So this is important for that kind of an application. Then next is where it was. Okay. Geo within. I think that is what I have discussed, that you have mentioned some polygon or multiple polygon, you will pass the coordinates, and then query is uh, whether that particular point which you are passing is within that document or not. Near is also there. So that near will actually will allow you to play with the distance as well. So you will give some geometry, let's say point, it has some coordinates longitude and latitude, and then you want to find out all the other points with some maximum distance or minimum distance in meters. So near sphere is also there. So these are the operators which are available to play with the locations attributes or location key value. Then you have an array elements. What this will do, it will check whether this field contains everything which is there inside this array. So all means it's an equivalent to, means unlike in operator, in may, what was the case in where tags in SSL, it means that tags can be either SSL or security, but here tags should contain both SSL and security. So that's what we mean by all operator. Then element match, whenever you want to find out or create a query on uh, embedded documents. Embedded means that results contain two parameter, or results is contains score, right? So here you can see the example, results contains score, and you want to find out, or you want to fire a query, or you want to retrieve only those documents based on some score, then you have to use this element match that will go inside the depth of the document. So it will go inside the embedded document. Product is XYZ and score is greater than or equal to 8. So that is useful whenever you want to fire a query on embedded documents. That means an object which contains, or key which contains a JSON, another document as a value. So for that element, and this will be very helpful, and this is also will be useful for most of the time. So similar to the other equality etc. operator, element match is also very popular operator. It is highly required operator. Then you can also mention size. Size is for a, let's say this is field is an array, and you want to fire a query with respect to the size of an array, whether what is the length of that array. So that you can mention. So it will retrieve all the record where this field is having a array of size 2. So that's how you can fire a query on size of an array. Then there are some bitwise operator. Comment is basically used to create a comment on a query. Okay, so these are all query operators, right? So you can see there is a long list of query operator what you can apply, and then you have a projection. So projection means basically you want to identify what are the field which you want to retrieve. So the basic syntax is field and value. So if I write a projection, right? So it will only retrieve the elements which, sorry, it will only retrieve the email field. So if you don't specify anything, and it will retrieve everything. So there is an email, there is a name. So projection will, the default behavior is something like this. So you, whatever field you require, you have to simply write in this way. Okay. So this is what it means, field 1 or true. You can also mention true as well instead of 1. Sometimes you retrieve all the records, or you want to retrieve all the records except something. So then you can use a binary version of it, that is 0. That means it will retrieve all the fields except this field for which you have mentioned 0 as the value. Sometimes you can use the dollar operator, dot, then dollar, that will be 1 or 2. That will actually retrieve only the first record of all the matches. Then array projection. So you can use a projection operator such as element match. Element match is again the same way it being used in the query operator. Similar way you can use over here as well. So if you see this, so what we are writing over here, let's see. Element match score greater than 5, then you have joined attribute as 1 and last login as 1. So if you see, join attribute is returned, last login is returned, and games is also returned for the score greater than 8. You might be wondering what is the difference between element match over here and in the find query. See, that difference you can understand when you let me show you some example. Yes, right. So we have these are the 1, 2, 3, and 4 records. 63109 is pin zip code for this. This is 63110, 63109, 109. Then you have some name and school and age. So let's say we are writing this query. Zip code is 63109 and students is only projected if school is 102. So if you see this, it will return three results, because there are 3 records with 63109. 63109, 63109, and 63109. So there are 3 records, so that's why it returns 3 records. But out of these 3 records, students is only projected if the school number is 102. So if you see 63109, school 102, 63109, school 100, here also 63109, 102. So here there are records which will be retrieved, but in this case, when your ID is 3, no student's record has been retrieved, because you have mentioned in a projection in form of element match. So this projection is only considered if this element match is true. So that's the difference. The find will, element match in find will control the what are the documents to be retrieved, but element match in projection will control what are the fields is to be retrieved. So both of them are used in a different manner. One is for selection, second is for projection. You can also use aggregation as well. Okay, we will discuss that when we will discuss an aggregation operation on query. So mainly the main aspect of find query is you need to understand all these operators which are available for querying. So you need to deeply understand that operator, and then you can, it's a very huge collection, means there are a number of things which you can extract with find as well. So I think I will stop here. We'll discuss, so we'll continue with it in the next session.